I definitely use Facebook the most. I don't even have a Twitter or an Instagram, but I'm on Facebook a lot.
Twitter and Instagram.
Twitter and Facebook?
Twitter and sometimes Facebook.
Facebook mostly.
Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Tumblr, and Pinterest.
Definitely Twitter, at least in my personal experience. Almost everyone's on Twitter, and people are kind of getting tired of Facebook, so they're switching over to Twitter and Instagram a little bit more.
Facebook.
Twitter and Facebook?
Facebook and Instagram.
I would say they use Twitter the most.
Twitter and Facebook.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube.
I think it definitely helps you connect with friends and relatives in a better and more effective way, especially if they live out of town or maybe live farther away. You can definitely connect with them a lot easier and stay in touch and follow their lives. And even it can help you in a professional way too, like with LinkedIn, and you can help find an employer or connect with a different company that way.
I think it allows us to stay in contact with like our family and like friends that we don't see that often, and then it allows us to meet new people that we meet like in college even. I think it's a good way to communicate, I guess, in other forms than just like over the phone or email.
I think it is affecting our society in a positive way in that everybody has more current news information about what's going around in their lives.
It keeps you up to date and it helps you connect with long lost friends and family members.
One positive way is it keeps you connected with people that you're not always with, and you can meet people.
It helps people stay up to date with the world around them, and it can help people find jobs and homes.
I think it helps people to connect with others who are across the world and like in a bunch of different areas, and it helps you keep long distance relationships with your family and your friends and people who you haven't seen in a long time. And also I think it helps people to be able to share their interests and like give other people ideas.
In a negative way, I think it can definitely be distracting, especially for students who are trying to do schoolwork. I personally know that it definitely is a distraction to me when I'm trying to get schoolwork done. And also, though, it kind of takes away from the human aspect of relationships. People are they're more comfortable typing and like chatting people than they are talking with them in person, and so it's kind of lowering the social interaction a little bit of people in their relationships.
I think it's a distraction. Like, you get so involved in it that you don't do your homework or you don't like prioritize things right. It creates drama between people, and I think people put too much business out there that everyone's involved in it, and you become unsociable. Like, you're just so involved in your social networks that you forget how to really live and like physically interact with people.
It's affecting our society in a negative way today in that people spend so much time on it that they lose touch on reality.
It creates drama between friends, and people post inappropriate things on social networks that could prevent them from getting jobs.
It's distracting, and also some people meet like bad people, and that can lead to abduction, stuff like that.
Some people get harassed and bullied on the internet, which can lead to suicide. And some people put too much personal information on the internet that should be told through face-to-face contact or over the phone.
Distractions in classrooms is a big part of the negatives, and just a lack of face-to-face interactions with other people. When I walk to classes on campus, I see more people with their heads in their phone, either like Facebooking or tweeting, and I just think that society is starting to replace actual social interactions with social networking.
At least 2 hours every day.
2 to 3.
I'd probably spend about 2 to 3 hours on social networking sites.
Less than 2.
I spend about 2 hours.
Around 2 hours a day.
About 6 to 8 hours.
Usually about 2 hours, but at most 3 hours.
Probably only 2.
I spend probably around 5 hours on school-related work.
At least 2.
I spend about 3 hours.
Around 1 to 2 hours.
About an hour.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I know that it can be very hard to study sometimes because I'll be on Facebook or chatting someone online, and I know it can be a very large distraction for me, and sometimes I'll end up staying up 3 or 4 hours later at night and cramming just because I was on Facebook originally and not devoting all my time to studying because of social networking.
I'll admit that sometimes, yes, I'll be sitting in class and I'll be bored, so I'll get on Twitter and look at that instead of paying attention. It's probably the wrong answer, but it's the truth.
I believe it does because I spend a lot more time on social networking sites when I could be doing homework.
Sometimes just in that if I'm in class and I'm bored, then I get on social networks, but in terms of interfering with my homework, no.
No, because I usually only get on Facebook if I'm done with homework.
Yes, because if I get bored in class, I get on my phone and go on social networking.
I think it's a big distraction when I try to do my schoolwork and I get on Facebook and I just want to be on there for a minute and it leads to like an hour. And so that's a major distraction when I'm trying to do schoolwork.
I would say they're more harmful to students today
Why?
because students spend more time occupying themselves with that stuff rather than schoolwork.
I think they're more harmful because college students post a lot of inappropriate things on those social networks that could get them in trouble later on in life.
I think it's more harmful because sometimes I see students in class like on Facebook, and that can be distracting to the person that's on Facebook.
I think it's more harmful for college students because they're spending more time checking their notifications and checking to see what their friends are doing than going over their homework and studying for upcoming tests.
Now that I think about it, I feel like the social networking sites are more harmful than helpful because it's such a big distraction when trying to do schoolwork and just a big distraction overall that I just think it's doing more harm than good.